Hey guys, so like I mentioned last week, today's workout is going to focus on butt and legs, and it's going to use the same format that you've now seen twice before. We're going to mix high and low impact with high and low weight. So to start, we're going to do a circuit. You're going to use weights, and you're going to get 6 exercises, and you'll do each exercise for 60 seconds back to back. Then we'll ditch the weights, and just using our body weight, we're going to do a Tabata, which is 8 rounds of 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. For that, I'll give you 4 exercises, and you'll cycle through them twice. We're going to go through that twice, so it'll be circuit, Tabata, circuit, Tabata. In total, this will take you just over 20 minutes to complete, factoring in some rest in between each of those sets. Okay, so equipment. For today's workout, I'm using a set of 10-pound dumbbells and then a 20-pound kettlebell, but you just need a set of weights. You don't need the kettlebell. All the exercises can be done with dumbbells. Now, listen up. I'm using a set of 10-pound dumbbells because that's the only set I have in my apartment. But this is a legs and butt workout. Typically, we can go a little heavier with the lower body exercises than we do with upper body and core. So I would really encourage you to go up a little heavier if you're about the same fitness level as I am. To give you an idea, if I were doing this workout at the gym or at a Barry's boot camp, I would be using probably 15, 20, maybe even 25-pound dumbbells. If you're a little confused, no worries. I'm going to give you a preview of the exercises before we do each block, so you'll get a heads up for what's coming your way. As with all workouts, make sure you're properly warmed up beforehand. I have a 5-minute warm-up on my channel. You could also do your own at home. Just don't come into this cold. Always listen to your body, modify or stop as needed. And if you're new to my channel, heads up, I don't play music in the background because I want you to be able to listen to whatever music you like. So if you don't have a playlist queued up, get that going, grab your weights, and let's do it. So the first 2 exercises in this circuit are going to be done on the same leg. If you want to mirror me, your right foot's going to be stationary and your left foot will step back behind it into your curtsy lunge. Now at the bottom of each curtsy lunge, I want you to add a pulse, and then as you stand up, you're bringing that back knee up into your side so the core is engaged. You're kind of getting a little added bonus of some oblique work here. Now, for all these exercises, it's not about how many reps you get in the 60 seconds. I care more that you're challenging yourself weight-wise. So like I mentioned at the start of this workout, I'm using 10-pound dumbbells. I should be using heavier ones. If you're about the same fitness level as I am, I hope you are using 15s or maybe even 20-pound dumbbells. Now, as you do this curtsy lunge, I want you to make sure that your front knee is tracking in line with your toes. So with that step back, it can kind of put you at a weird angle. Just make sure knees always going in the same direction as toes. That is going to help protect the joint. All right, now we're still going to isolate that right leg if that's the leg you started on the first time. We're going to do a single leg deadlift. And so you want to start with your non-working side, the toe just very lightly behind you, about a foot. You're going to slide your hips down and back as you do a deadlift. And then we're going to release that back foot from the ground and you're going to hinge forward. Picture your body as like a seesaw. So we got a little combo here. Now, as you do the seesaw, that tilt forward, I want you to try to keep your hips square to the ground. So the hip of your back leg is going to want to kind of roll open towards the wall. Don't let it. Picture there's something heavy on it, pulling it down in line with your standing hip. So think both hip bones, same distance from the floor. Now with the foot on the floor, when you give me that deadlift, you're only bringing the weights to about mid-shin. I don't want you to go any lower than that because when we go lower than that, we tend to kind of hunch and round through the back, and you don't want that. You want to think chest broad the whole time. Roll your shoulder blades down your back. You have a few more seconds here, and then we're going to do those same 2 exercises on the other leg. Okay, so you're a pro by now. We're just going to isolate that other side. We're going to go into that curtsy combo. So curtsy lunge, give me a pulse at the bottom, and then as you stand, you're going to bring that knee up into your side, engaging through the core. Now, if balance is off today, this is not working, especially with those weights on the shoulders, you have options to modify. You could just stand up instead of bringing the knee up into your side. You could also drop down. Maybe you just hold one weight at your chest instead of both weights on your shoulders. And then, of course, if you need to modify further, just do body weight. Always a good place to start. As we do this, let's make sure that we are keeping weight in that front heel. Core is engaged, so especially as we stand and bring the knee up, you're thinking of knitting your ribs together. You have a few more seconds here, and then we are going to go into that deadlift combo. Okay. So same foot that was stationary on those curtsy lunges, stationary on this side, other toes lightly on the floor behind you. You're thinking of sliding your hips back as you hinge forward. Remember, a deadlift is a hinge, not a squat. So you think of sliding the hips back, soft bend to the knee, back stays flat, chest broad, bringing those weights to about mid-shin. So again, doesn't matter how many reps you get in. So I really want you to focus on keeping those hips square as you do the seesaw portion of it, as we're now calling it, very scientific name, seesaw. Keep those hips square to the ground. I'd rather you go slow and get fewer reps in and keep your balance than to rush through it. Coming up next, we are going to take it into a goblet squat. All right, so I'm going to switch to using a kettlebell for this one just because I have a heavier kettlebell. But you can continue to use those dumbbells. You could either hold one at your chest or you could have both at your shoulders, whatever works best for you. Now, just like we were in those curtsy lunges, we're going to add a pulse at the bottom of this goblet squat. So you're taking it down low, little pulse up and down an inch, and then drive up. Now, when you stand up, you want to finish the squat by squeezing your glutes and the hips come forward. You're not hyperextending though, so you need to still engage through the core. In other words, when you stand, you're pretty much coming to a plank alignment. So I've just switched the angle here so that you can see my elbows are kind of coming in towards the insides of my knees, and I have my feet a little wider than hips distance apart on these. Weight is staying in the heels, butt and hips slide down and back. Core is staying engaged, so we pull the low abs up and in, ribs knit together. Last few seconds. Now, keeping that weight, we're going to come into alternating reverse lunges. Once again, adding in a pulse. That's kind of the theme today, adding that little pulse at the bottom for an added burn. Now, as you step back, you want to keep your front knee over the heel. Oop, lost my balance there. Okay, so at this point in the circuit, it's normal to feel your back kind of talking to you. When we're doing weighted squats and lunges, especially when we have the weight on our chest, on the front side of our body, your back has to work to keep you upright and to keep balance. So it's not that you shouldn't feel this in your back, but of course we want to feel it in a strengthening way, not a straining way. If this is feeling painful at all in your low back, then we've probably forgotten to engage the core. I need you to knit those ribs together, pull the low abs up and in. I know I'm a broken record, but it's so important to do so. Last few seconds here. All right, so while you watch the preview for the Tabata, rest up. Come into a tabletop on your forearms, and then you tuck your toes and hover your knees about 2 inches off the floor. And from here, you're just hopping your feet up and down. It's a really small movement. Now, a little tip, if you have tight shoulders, you can absolutely do this on straight arms. You would just be in a straight arm tabletop. So hopefully you're feeling the quads start to light up here, the tops of your thighs starting to burn. You have just a few more seconds to go. Okay, and rest. For the rest of the exercises, we'll be up on our feet. So we're going to do a squat jump, adding in 2 squat hops at the bottom at the beeps. So for the little hops down low, your feet are only coming like half an inch off the floor. You don't have to get very high. The goal is to actually stay low and keep your knees soft the whole time. You do 2 of those and then you're going to give me that big explosive jump up. When you do the squat jump, I want it to be your goal to get as high as you can. So really explode up. And rest. Next up, we're going to do some good old-fashioned jump lunges. If you need to modify and this is getting to be too much, just do an alternating back lunge instead of the jump. So I like to get my arms in on the action here and try to find a rhythm, pumping my arms as I switch my feet in midair, one foot in front, then the next. Land softly and try to keep your front knee over that front heel the whole time. And take a breather. Okay, one more exercise to go, then we'll cycle through those all again. We have a wide stance jump squat with a lateral lift of the leg. You'll alternate side to side. So jump up in the air, land low softly, and then sweep one leg up to the side, getting into those abductors, the outer thigh, outer seat area. If you need to modify, just take out the jump. Just squat and then lift your leg. Last few seconds. Okay, so we're going to do those all one more time. So we're halfway there. We're going to start with those bear hops. If the bear hops felt easy the first round, I promise you, you will feel your quads on fire this round. I did anyway. So little hop landing softly. The knees are again just kind of hovering a couple inches off the ground as you hop them up and down. Option to do these on straight arms if you have tight shoulders and this feels weird. And rest. We got just 3 more work intervals to go. Stand it up. We are going to do the squat hop with the one explosive jump. 2 little squat hops at the bottom and then explode up. Try to get some air. Oh man, you can tell I'm slowing down. If you need to take out the hop, just pulse and rest. Jump lunges up next. So again, if you need to take out the jump, you can. You can also just sort of slow down the cadence, which you can kind of tell I definitely am this time around. I am getting tired. Still focus on landing softly. You only have a few more seconds, so maybe you try to push that pace a little bit. And rest. Okay, just one more to go. So we're going to do that wide stance jump squat with the lateral leg lift. So start with your feet wider than hips distance apart. You got it, guys. You have just about 10 seconds to go. That is it. Maybe you try to pick up the pace a little bit. Maybe you try to get a little higher on those jump squats and on those leg lifts. Everything you got. Last few seconds. All right, so we got to do that whole thing one more time. I know you're excited. I'll give you a little preview of the circuit while you rest. Okay, so you guys know the drill now. For this circuit, remember, pick one leg and isolate it the first 2 exercises. So same leg will be stationary the first 2 moves. We're starting with that curtsy lunge, adding a pulse at the bottom, and as you stand up, you're going to drive the knee into your side. Now, at this point in the workout, we're a little more fatigued than when we did this circuit the first time. So if you need to drop down in weight or do body weight, those are both awesome options. The important thing is that you can stay active the whole duration of the exercise. So I want 60 seconds of continuous movement. Just over halfway there. Keep it up. Remember, it doesn't matter how many reps you get in, slow and steady, and really perfect that form. So as you drive the knee up, you're thinking of engaging through the core, getting that little oblique engagement. Weight is staying in your front heel with the knee tracking in line with the toes. Under 10 seconds to go. Okay, same leg is going to be stationary. We're doing that deadlift combo. So your non-working foot is going to be light, light, light on the floor, about a foot behind the other one. We're going to do a single leg deadlift. Weight in that front heel, slide the button hips back and down, keep your chest broad, open, and your back flat. And then we're going to release that back foot from the floor as we tilt forward into that sort of seesaw motion. And remember, very important when you do that seesaw, it's a balance challenge. We want to try to keep the hips square. So that back hip is going to want to roll open. Don't let it pull it down in line with the stationary hip. Also, make sure you're not locking out through that standing knee. So there's a soft little micro bend to it the whole time. On both of these motions in the combo, it's not about how low you get. I want to see control, and you actually don't want to go too low because I never want your back to hunch. I don't want you to roll the shoulders forward. Under 10 seconds to go. Stay with it. At the beeps, we'll do those same two moves, just isolating the other leg. If you're just using one weight for this, hold it in center at your chest. If you have a history of low back issues, your back is bothering you, then I might suggest trying it with the weight on your shoulders behind your neck instead of in front of your chest. When you get low in this curtsy lunge, I really want you to get low. So that back knee should just be hovering a couple inches off the floor. Don't cheat yourself. You want to really get deep into this. Weight stays in that front heel. Under 20 seconds to go. And we're on to that deadlift combo. So if you need to drop down to one weight on this one, you're going to keep the weight in the hand of the non-working leg. So if your right foot is forward right now, you would keep your weight in your left hand. Over halfway there. So usually we have one leg where we're a little better balancing wise than the other. For me, this is my tough side. So it's very normal to notice differences in the exercises from leg to leg. Go slow. Again, we're not rushing through this. And if you're a little wobbly and you need to keep your foot on the floor, that's okay too. That's another option. Okay, we're going to go into the goblet squats. Again, I'm going to switch to using my kettlebell just because it's 20 pounds. It's a little heavier and easier to hold at chest height. But you could also drop down to a single heavy dumbbell. Same exact idea. So I'll start again facing the side so that you can see it from this way. Notice that the knees are not jutting out farther than the toes. I'm getting low by sliding the button hips back and down, still keeping my chest upright though and my chest open. Shoulders roll down your back. Now I'll just face forward so you can see what the upper body is doing. Those elbows are kind of coming down in towards the insides of my knees. Now, if your back is starting to get cranky, you might have forgotten about your core. So let's make sure we're knitting the ribs together. Low abs are engaged as well, pulling up and in, navel to spine. You have about 15 seconds. Stay with it. Finish the squat at the top, but don't hyperextend. So I don't want you to arch into the low back. You drive up, the hips come forward, but your abs stay in tight. Okay, last exercise. We just have that alternating reverse lunge, adding in a pulse at the bottom. If this is too hard or too easy, we adjust that by adjusting the weight. So use heavier weights. The opposite is true if you need to make it a little easier, a little more modified. Just drop down to a lighter weight, or you can even do body weight. We're at that halfway point. You have 30 seconds to go, and then you are done with this circuit. When you sink into that lunge, really get your back knee so that it's just hovering off the floor. Like I was saying with that curtsy lunge, you don't want to cheat yourself on this. I want to see you get low every time. You have about 10 seconds to go. That is it. Try to get in one more rep on each side. And done. All right, I'm going to show you that Tabata while you rest. Last 4 minutes of your workout coming up. We're going to start with those bear hops down on your forearms, or if this feels awkward or you have tight shoulders, you can also do it on straight arms. Knees just hover a couple inches off the floor and you hop those feet, landing softly. It's a tiny hop. You want it to be quick though and continuous. The goal here, get your heart rate up so it's as many reps as you can do in those 20 seconds without sacrificing proper form though, of course. Last few here. And rest. Okay, 1 down, 7 to go. I shouldn't have said that. That sounds terrible. Squat hops with that squat jump coming up next. 2 little hops down low, and then again, that third one is the big jump, and you want to be explosive. So it's a little hop, and then really try to get some air underneath your feet on that jump. Landing softly though, so notice that when I land, I'm right back down in that squat. And rest. Jump lunges coming up next. If you need to modify these, just do an alternating back lunge, kind of like we did weighted, but you want to keep the pace quick if you are taking that option. So notice I'm landing softly and low. That back knee, of course, you don't want to slam it on the floor, but you do want to bring it down pretty low so it's just hovering. Oh, I'm struggling. Here come the pauses. And rest. Shake it out. Jump squat with that lateral lift coming up next. Start with your feet wide, so a little wider than hips distance apart. When you do this lateral lift, if you have tight hips, your leg might not be coming up very high. That is fine. Don't worry so much about height. I do want you to focus on height of that jump squat, though. Really try to get high. And rest. Okay, we just got to go through that one more time and then your workout is done. 2 minutes, that's nothing. You can do this. Get down low in your bear position. All right, get that quad burnout going. Little hops, little hops. If you need to pause in this one, try to pause with your knees hovering. Don't drop them to the floor altogether. I want you to try to keep the target muscle group active the whole time. A few more seconds to go here. Maybe you try to pick up the pace. And rest. We can check that exercise off the list. 3 more to go. 2 squat hops to the squat jump coming up. If you need to modify these, instead of doing the squat hops where your feet come off the floor that 1/2 inch, just do a pulse in your low squat. I still want you to try to do the jump though if you can. If you got to modify that as well, then it is just a regular air squat. Take out the jump. And done. Okay. Anyone else riding the struggle bus? We got 2 more to go. We can do this. Jump lunges coming up. Okay, we're about halfway. I'm going to try to pick up the pace a little bit and find a quicker rhythm. There I go. See if you can too. Push, push, push right to the end. Oh, I'm losing steam. You're almost there. And rest. All right, we got 1 more push to go. 20 seconds and your workout is done. Empty the tank. When you get to the end of these 20 seconds, I want you to feel like you are spent. You got it, guys, under 10 seconds. Maybe you try to pick up the pace. How many more reps can you get in?
and done.
All right, that's your workout. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel. And if you particularly like the structure of this workout, remember I have 2 more just like this, one that focuses on upper body and core, and the other that is full body. I'll link to them below, or you could just scroll through. I posted them recently. All right, that's it for me today. I'll see you guys here next week.